Hello and welcome to Parents Guide to Games. The games on this list are coming out the week of May 9th, 2017. The first game on our list is Birthdays the Beginning. This is coming out on PlayStation 4 and PC. The rating is everyone. This is a simulation game in which players create and forms an ecosystem. Players can shape geographically, alter climate, and foster various life forms. The next game on our list is Strafe. This is coming out on PlayStation 4 and PC. The rating is mature. The consequences are violence, gore, and blood. Strafe is a first-person shooter. Weapons at the player's disposal will include shotguns, machine guns, and railguns. Merchants will appear whom the players can buy upgrades from. The levels in the game are procedurally generated. Upon loading each zone, the map is generated by pulling a set of rooms from a pool and arranging them randomly. The enemies, upgrades, and merchants, among other assets, are also randomized and placed in the zone. The game will feature digital gravity and a dynamic blood splatter system. Next, we'll talk about Minecraft Switch Edition. This is coming out on Nintendo Switch. The rating is everyone 10 and up. Content descriptors are fantasy violence. This is a puzzle adventure game in which players mine pixelated landscapes to harvest stylized cube-like materials. From a first-person perspective, players traverse open-world environments, avoid hazards, build new structures, and craft weapons to occasionally defend against monsters. Although not encouraged, players can engage in violent acts such as lighting animals on fire and harming animals with weapons. Mild explosions are occasionally heard as players use dynamite to fend off creatures and mine environment. The game also features arena-style events which several players compete against each other. During these events, players are able to attack their opponents with weapons and objects. Now we'll take a look at Farpoint. This is coming out on PlayStation VR. The rating is mature. The content descriptors are blood and gore, strong language, and violence. This is a VR first-person shooter in which players assume the role of a crashed survivor on an alien planet. Players use assault rifles, shotguns, and plasma rifles to shoot and kill hostile alien creatures and robotic enemies. Battles are accompanied by realistic gunfire and large explosions. Blood splatter effect occurs when enemies are shot. Some attacks result in dismemberment or decapitations, leaving creatures' body parts and blood stains on the ground. Swear words are heard in the dialogue. The next game on our list is Injustice 2. This is coming out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The rating is teen. The content descriptors are alcoholic references, blood, language, and suggestive themes. This is a fighting game in which players engage in one-on-one battles with popular heroes and villains from the DC Comics universe. Players punch, kick, and use a variety of weapons to drain opponents' health meters in melee-style combat. Matches are highlighted by impact sounds, splashes of blood, and colorful light effects as fighters are hurled across the screen or to the ground. Players engage in fantasy combat as they trigger super attacks and attacks that propel opponents from different levels of fighting arenas. Some super attacks depict blood splatter effects as characters are injured by creatures or impaled by swords. Cutscenes depict additional instances of violence and blood. A character impaled with a sword, a prisoner lying in a small pool of blood, a character stabbed with a trident, a female villain's throat slashed off screen. A game's dialogue contains brief sexual references, and some female characters are wearing revealing outfits and perform suggestive poses. One fight takes place in a bar with several alcoholic references, a sign that reads beer, drunken patriots on the ground, kegs of beer that can be thrown at opponents' heads. Swear words are also heard in the dialogue. Now let's take a look at The Surge. This is coming on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptors are intense violence, blood, and gore, strong language. The Surge is designed as a challenging role-playing game in the style of the Souls series games. The gameplay has involved players using exoskeletons to battle enemies. The exoskeleton can be customized through the game using a modular upgrades. The combat allows players to target different body parts of enemies, as well as utilize finishing moves, often ending in dismemberment and bullet time fashion. The last game on our list is Akiba's Beat. This is coming on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vide. The rating is teen. Content descriptions are blood, fantasy violence, mild language, suggestive themes, and use of alcohol. This is an action role-playing game in which players assume the role of a young man caught in a mysterious time loop. As players explore surreal environments, they interact with local people and battle fantasy creatures and human enemies. Characters use swords, pistols, and magic attacks to deplete enemies' health meters in melee combat. Battles are highlighted by cries of pain, impact sounds, and lightning effects. One cutscene depicts a character holding a bloody sword after attacking another character. The blood is also shown splattered across the screen. Some characters engage in suggestive dialogue. One scene depicts a totally drunk word, slur his speech, and hiccuping. Swear words are also heard in the dialogue. Thank you to bensound.com for the music track. You can also follow Parents Guide to Games on Twitter at ParentsG2G, on Facebook at Parents Guide to Games. You can check out our daily blog at parentsg2g.blogspot.com, and also email us with questions and concerns at parentsg2g@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.